Hi there, my name is Mr. Pete. I am a 4th grade teacher currently reading Katie Camillo's The Tale of Despereaux. We are about to start chapter 35, The Knight in Shining Armor. I wonder who that knight's going to be. So we're left off with Miggery Sow finding Despereaux. He was on the tray, and when she picked up the napkin, Despereaux fell out into cooking oil, so he's covered in cooking oil. She is told to kill him by the cook, and she cuts his tail off, and he is in the pantry. Chapter 35, The Knight in Shining Armor. Despereaux was pondering the reverse of that question. He was pondering not what he would do with his tail, but what he would do without it. He was sitting on a bag of flour high atop a shelf in the pantry, crying for what he had lost. The pain in his hindquarters was intense, and he wept because of it. But he also cried because he was happy. He was out of the dungeon. He had been recalled to light. He had been recalled to life, even. His rescue had happened just in time for him to save the Princess P from the terrible fate the rat had planned for her. So Despereaux wept with joy and with pain and with gratitude. Highlight gratitude means thankful. He wept with exhaustion and despair and hope. He wept with all the emotions a young small mouse who has been sent to his death and then been delivered from it in time to save his beloved can feel. Reader, the mouse wept. So the mouse wept because his tail hurt, and the mouse wept because he was in despair, worried about the princess. He wept because he was hopeful that he could save the princess. He wept because he was tired. He wept because he was thankful. He's having this big emotional outbreak because he saved, knows that there's trouble, and now has to save her. So it's this big mix of emotions. And then he lay down on the sack of flour and slept. Outside the castle, the sun set and the stars came out one by one, and then they disappeared and gave way to the rising sun. And still Despereaux slept, and while he slept, he dreamt. He dreamt of the stained glass windows and the dark of the dungeon. In Despereaux's dream, the light came to life, brilliant and glorious, personification, in the shape of a knight swinging a sword. The knight fought the dark, and the dark took many shapes. First, the dark was his mother, uttering phrases in French, and then the dark became his father, beating the drum. The dark was Furlough, wearing a black hood and shaking his head no, and the dark became a huge rat, smiling a smile that was evil and sharp. "The dark!" Despereaux cried, turning his head to the left. "The light!" he murmured, turning his head to the right. He called out to the knight. He shouted, "Who are you? Will you save me?" But the knight did not answer him. "Tell me who you are!" Despereaux shouted. The knight stopped swinging his sword. He looked at Despereaux. "You know me," he said. "No," said Despereaux, "I don't." "You do," said the knight. He slowly took the armor off his head and revealed nothing, no one. The suit of armor was empty. "No, oh no," said Despereaux. "There is no knight in shining armor. It's all just make-believe, like happily ever after." And in his sleep reader, the small mouse began to cry. So my question to you is, who is the knight in shining armor? That is the question. So Despereaux is clearly worried. He's exhausted. He slept all night, and he's now crying, not knowing who can help the princess. Maybe we'll find out in the next chapter what Meg carried. But that is for another day. Thank you so much. Do all of those things that help me out. Click like, click subscribe, and leave a comment. If you could, tell a friend. and have that friend come on over and give this a try. Leave comments below. Tell me how absolutely horrible my accents are. I know that. I'm just trying to have some fun with it so that you can have some fun with it. So, thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you on the next page. What's going to happen next? What's Despereaux up to? Is he still in the dungeon? Don't know. Peace.